Coming into Tallahassee, Jeb Bush country. And we want to know if George W. Bush won the election or did brother Jeb steal it for him. Our investigation suggests that the answer lies in this shuttered building, the Capitol, and in a very expensive contract between Governor Jeb's Division of Elections and a private company named DBT, which accidentally wiped off the voter rolls thousands of Democratic voters.
No, I didn't ask DBT to vote. They do what we contract them to do. We have a statute that says we have to have a private company to do this. We put it out for bid. They got the bid. And I think I'm done with this interview.
Wait, well, let me just show you the contract, if I could, Mr. Roberts. Wait. It says here, right in the contract, that the verification is supposed to be done by DBT, that you paid them $4 million. Don't you? It could look to other people, don't you think, that you paid $4 million to purchase this election for the Republican Party? Instead, Mr. Roberts called out state troopers. Gets interesting here, huh?
Oh, man, never dull moment. Y'all have a good one.
The difficult questions are, did Governor Jeb Bush, his Secretary of State, Katherine Harris, and her Director of Elections, Clayton Roberts, know they had wrongly barred 22,000 black Democrat voters before the elections? After the elections, did they use their powers to prevent the counting of yet another 20,000 votes for Al Gore? The Democrats say the answers are yes and yes.
In almost any other country in the world, if this had occurred, there probably would have been riots. There probably would have been military troops throughout the streets.
Al Gore won the election. He won the popular vote, and he won the vote in Florida. And I think that that's pretty clear.
It wasn't done fairly. They shouldn't allow you to contest an election, didn't give you no way to contest it.
Jeb Bush promised his brother he was going to deliver Florida. And I believe that the Republicans, their strategy was at all costs, we deliver Florida.
Where people were taken out of polls and stopped from voting, yeah, I think that was not right. I smell a rat.
The first list from DBT included 8,000 names from Texas supplied by George Bush's state officials. They said they were all felons, serious criminals barred from voting. As it turns out, almost none were. Local officials raised a ruckus, and DBT issued a new list naming 58,000 felons. But the one county which went through the whole expensive process of checking the new list name by name found it was still 95% wrong.
They were going to verify.
Reverend Willie Whiting was one of those removed from the voter rolls after DBT wrongly labeled him a serious criminal.
I've never spent a night in jail. Never have.
Were you ever busted?
No, I had a speeding ticket probably 25, 30 years ago, I guess. Somewhere like that, but that's about it. I'm not.
You think you should be allowed to vote if you had a speeding ticket?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Governor Bush, Secretary of State Katherine Harris, Clay Roberts is the head of the Florida Department of Elections, all knew or should have known in advance that certain election policies and practices would disproportionately impact low-income areas, and in particular black citizens and other minority citizens, and that this would disproportionately impact Democratic voters based on historical voting trends.
Thank you, Florida.
Altogether, it looks like this cost the Democrats about 22,000 votes in Florida, which George Bush won by only 537 votes. Commissioner Edley and his colleagues will be in Miami tomorrow to hear from voters who are wrongly disqualified.
If you're going to do it, by all means, as a matter of due process, as a matter of fairness, it's got to be done with excruciating care. It's a democracy. The vote counts. There's a lot of public concern that the contractor who was selected to do this is a firm that seems to have ties to the Republican Party.
Vice President James Lee told Newsnight that manual verification by telephone calls does not mean ringing people up to check they've got the right person. So, were they paid $4 million to produce a list which they knew would name thousands of innocent black people? In fact, DBT told Newsnight that Clayton Roberts and the state of Florida wanted there to be more names than were actually verified as being a convicted felon. So, did they use their powers to prevent the count of 20,000 additional votes for the Democrats?
And in accordance with the laws of the state of Florida, I hereby declare
Governor George W. Bush the winner of Florida's 25 electoral votes for the President of the United States.